Damon Martin MMA fighting here with one of the biggest winners from this past weekend's card, and now the number 3 ranked lightweight in the world, Beneil Dariush. Beneil, how good does it feel to not only have a win over Tony Ferguson, but to finally be ranked in that top 5 in the lightweight division?
I gotta say, it feels pretty good, but I'm not satisfied. I'm still not there yet.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't pay a lot of attention to rankings. I got to be clear about that. Like, I just don't. But when I saw the new rankings come out, I was like, you know what? That was pretty cool because obviously it was a big win for you. You're on a great streak, and it was just like it's almost like a satisfaction. Like finally, like the hard work is paying off. You're finally showing you the appreciation you deserve.
That was my 20th fight in the UFC. So
wow,
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before we get to the fight, let me ask the most important question of the day, which is, how is your Tesla?
Well, it's great. It's really nice. It's a really nice car. My wife's been driving it mostly, but the best way I can explain it, it's like driving a smartphone. It's so different than a regular car. It's gonna take us some getting used to, but I'm glad we're getting to try it early.
Yeah, it's funny because on Saturday night everyone's like, why didn't Beneil call out, Gaethje or Poirier or McGregor or the champion, whatever? And then Elon Musk actually replied and actually like said something. You got to be thinking in your head like, see, I told you it would work.
So my Giga's like, bro, what are you doing? Why are you calling out Elon? I was like, I don't know. I've been waiting for 6 months. I'm annoyed. I wanted to get it off my chest. And then the next day, Giga's like, man, maybe I'll call out Elon too. So it was so good for me. It really worked out well. And I got to be honest with you, Elon and Tesla have been great now.
Yeah, that's funny. So you got a loaner car, but they're still working on your actual car. Is that what it is?
Yeah, correct.
Wow. Still, like I said, when I saw that tweet on Sunday, I was like, man, Elon Musk is a big deal. Like getting his attention, and then they send you the car to use until they get you your real car. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's incredible. I didn't actually expect him to reply. I really didn't. I thought it was gonna be I just didn't think he was going to be that down to earth. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah. So now we know that Elon Musk is friends with Joe Rogan. Of course, Joe Rogan's UFC color commentator. What are we thinking? Elon maybe coming out to your fight next time? Is that like the next move? Maybe get a power play like that?
Listen, if Elon wants to, from what my understanding is, he's a large shareholder now in Endeavor. So if Elon wants to come to the UFC, he's to the UFC fights, he's more than welcome. And I would be very appreciative if he did come to my fight. So if that's what Elon wants to do, God bless him, man. More power to him.
Yeah, I'm not rolling hard enough for Tesla life yet, but I see these videos. Have you seen these videos where they actually give you things where you can actually sleep in your Tesla? Have you seen this? They give you like pads or whatever where you can roll out of bed in a Tesla. Have you seen this?
No. Could you send me that, please?
I will. I will send you. It's crazy. Like they literally give you pads and stuff. You can literally transform your Tesla into a bed. It's crazy.
That's I'm telling you that car is it's way ahead of its time. It's a whole generation ahead of its time.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, of course, more importantly, obviously, the most important thing, of course, congratulations on an amazing win. It was exactly what you wanted to go out there. It's funny because when we talked before the fight, and I'm sure you saw the article or whatever, you were expecting kind of a blood and guts fight. You were ready for that, knowing what kind of damage Tony Ferguson typically does, even to the guys, even like you look at the Gaethje fight, like Gaethje nearly got knocked out in the second round facing a guy like Tony Ferguson. You were ready to go in there knowing you might not walk out, you might not walk out unscathed, but then you go out there and you put on a, completely dominant performance from start to finish. I mean, it had to feel good to have that kind of fight.
It felt awesome. It felt amazing. And I got to be honest, man, I after the weigh-ins that night, after, I was fully hydrated and everything. I was in my room before I was going to sleep. I got a little bit of inspiration from David Taylor and Yazdani, watching them wrestle. And I'm a fan of both of them. I watch a lot of Yazdani because I like the way he does his underhook stuff. And then I'm a fan of Taylor because the way he is just constantly shooting. And watching that match, seeing a guy like Yazdani, who got ahead on the scorecards and was winning, to start to fall apart because his opponent Taylor continues to shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot and just does not care. And finally he breaks Yazdani and ends up winning the match. It was very inspiring to me to see that. I said, I've trained hard enough to do that. I think I could do that in my fight. I think I could shoot and shoot and shoot if necessary, and even hold Tony down. So I kind of want to try this, and I really got inspired by it. And game plans were part of the fight. I just didn't think I was going to rely on them that heavily.
Yeah, absolutely. No shame in being inspired by the Magic Man, David Taylor. That guy's a beast.
He really is. And obviously I'm not that slick. I'm not the Magic Man, but I'm more of a meat and potatoes guy, but I made it work, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny because you've had so many big knockouts lately, Scott Holtzman, some of the other knockouts you've had, but you always said your bread and butter is your grappling. I mean, you're a championship level grappler. Was it fun to just mix it up and kind of show it? When I say show a different facet of your game, you've done it before, but you know what I mean? Like showing you can do it all. Like going out there and out grappling Tony Ferguson is a big deal.
Yeah. And, for me, this is how, like, I don't even hide my game plan. I'm like, listen, you're going to get taken down if you fight me. If you can stop my takedown, well, then it's my hands. If you stop those, here come my kicks, and then back to the takedown I go. You're gonna always have to deal with the takedown. I'm not even gonna hide my game plan from you. I don't care who you are. That takedown is coming. So with that being said, it's been really cool for people to kind of see all parts of my game because I'm always so focused on the grappling.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the heel hook in a second. I know you've answered this question a million times already, but I was actually shocked. There's some shots you hit Tony with in that fight on the ground where I was like, man, I think there was an elbow in there somewhere. I know there's at least a couple punches where I was like, I saw his head like ricochet, and I was like, man, I thought the fight was going to be stopped because it would put out most guys. I'll be honest, and Tony is incredibly tough, and I know you have nothing but respect for him, but I was actually shocked he was able to take a couple of those shots.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I was just like, this man is a zombie. I'm just gonna have to. I'm gonna have to put him to sleep. And my goal was to find a choke and kind of put him to sleep. And it never really materialized. His style, I think he's aware of his weakness is just going to sleep, and so he's very good at defending the chokes. I can get an armbar, I can get a Kimura, but I was having a really hard time finding the choke.
Yeah. Now I am absolutely 100% not a jiu-jitsu expert, but I have trained jiu-jitsu. And for those unaware, a heel hook, how can I put this? It really sucks being stuck in a heel hook. I've been stuck in a heel hook. It is not fun to be in a heel hook, and it goes quick. When you get locked in a heel hook, in a good heel hook, I mean, it's 2 seconds and it goes from bad to worse really, really quickly. And I know you've talked about this a lot since the fight, but I don't know. Have you had a chance to rewatch it or anything and like see the reaction? Because I think to this, like, I don't understand how he survived that. I got to be honest.
Yeah. So I watched it again, and it was gross this time, just like it was when I did it in the fight. So let me explain best case scenario for a heel hook. Best case scenario for a heel hook, your ankle pops. You hurt your ankle. Worst case scenario, you tear your ACL and your other ligaments. And I'm telling you, I felt something in his knee pop. I wouldn't be surprised if he has an ACL tear. Because so the way I explain it is when I went for it, there was resistance in the knee, and pop, it gave. And I looked at his face, and he was freaking out a little bit. And then right away he looked back at me and he started down kicking me. He like put on his game face again, or his whatever you want to call it. And then the second time I went to do the same thing, there was no resistance. It was doing this. So it was very flimsy. So I just came on top. I said, he's not even going to feel this. So it was the best way I can explain it to you. It felt gross. It felt really gross when I felt the knee go.
Yeah, and you've been doing jiu-jitsu for so many years, and you're grappling. I mean, you know the damage heel hook can do, and you know how quickly most people would tap from that. I mean, that's insane. Like, and again, I'm not knocking Tony Ferguson by any stretch of the imagination. The guy's a warrior, we know that, but man, like, sometimes you got to take, like, it's okay to, like, I'm not against tapping out. I have absolutely no problem when someone taps out, especially when it's something like an arm or a knee that you're going to have to maybe be out of the sport for a year over. You know what I mean? Like, there's no shame in tapping.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, if I can win the fight, I would like to be able to do what Tony did. I'll be honest with you. If it means winning the fight, I hope when the time comes, I can go through the same thing. And because winning the fight means I provide for my family, and I can come back and recover and go back out there. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too simplistic about it, but it's a difficult situation. I don't know who's in the right, but for Tony, I just don't think he was even close to winning that fight. He had lost the first and he was losing the second. So I think it made more sense for him to tap, but I don't think he was even thinking about losing. I think in his mind, he was going to win no matter what.
Yeah. Outside of getting the finish, which I know, you are a pretty, dominant finisher. But outside of that, I can't imagine you could have written a better way of winning that fight in terms of how dominant you were, right? I mean, even like I said, the guys who go in and fight Tony and even have somewhat close fights with Tony, like the guys who have hurt Tony before, still end up losing or end up walking out with, gashes over their eyes or whatever. Could you have written a better ending in terms of outside of the finish, going out there and dominating him the way you did for 15 minutes? I mean, that was a pretty perfect fight, right?
For me, it was great. It was the fight that I wanted. It was exactly what I wanted. I didn't want, to be honest, if I needed to, I would have gone in there and got bloody and had the war to win, but I didn't want that. I wanted to be able to stick to my game plan. I want to be a championship fighter. I don't want to be a bonus fighter. And I think to be a championship fighter, I got to be able to stick to the game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you addressed this in another interview, Beneil, but I'm going to bring it up anyways, which is the crowd. It was a very pro Tony crowd. I know you kind of accepted that, but not that you're, and I say this, I know I say this all the time in interviews with you, Beneil, and I apologize, but I always say you're such a nice guy. You're actually like a really good dude. And I mean that as an absolute compliment. And it sucks when maybe the crowd doesn't go for you or boo for you, or maybe you're fighting a guy they're for. And I understand that, but you didn't let any of that affect you. You just kind of like rolled it off your back, kind of smiled your way through it. Was it weird though? Cause you're not typically the guy who's ever been booed.
Can I be honest with you, brother? Being nice is hard. Being nice is something I have to work on. Being nice is something I have to go out of my way to do. I have to constantly work at putting myself in other people's shoes so that I can be nice, so that I can be kind. Being booed and getting ready to fight and like having all that, that's easy. That's literally the easiest thing because it's my first nature. I'm very good at breaking things. I've always been good at getting in fights, and I've always been good at breaking whatever necessary to win a fight. It's always been hard for me to be nice. So when people booed me, it just made me go straight to my first nature, and it's not difficult for me to do.
Yeah. With that being said, it was such a big win for you. Now, priority right now is your daughter being born. That's coming soon. You're ready for some daddy time. How excited are you for that? And I know we're going to talk about more fight stuff here in a second, but man, I know from your last fight and when we talked before and after that fight, and then before and after this fight, you just seem to get more and more excited about daddy time coming up.
It's incredible, man. I haven't met her yet, but I can't wait. My wife was like, well, what if they give you the title early? And I said, I'm good. I'm not interested. If it's not, it has to be after, like It has to be end of November, December. That's the time I'll accept. My mom said the same thing. My mom was like, maybe you're taking too long off. And I said, nope, I don't care. This is it. I'm doing this. This is going to be the way I do this. And this is it. I'm not changing it. I don't care for what the reason is. Unless there's divine intervention, I'm not changing it.
Yeah. Sometimes there are things bigger than fighting, right? I mean, obviously, as much as you want to be champion and as much as you want to accomplish that goal, and I think you and Charles in July would be an amazing fight or whatever, but you only get this one time with your daughter, right? Like you'll never get that back.
Exactly. And it's what's more important, my daughter or her belt or money. Like nothing's going to compare to my daughter. Nothing's going to compare to my daughter and my wife. Nothing's going to ever come close to their worth.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll ask, and if you can't say, that's okay. Do you know her name yet? Have you guys picked out a name?
Yeah, her name's going to be Alva.
Alva. Okay.
It means brightness in Hebrew.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. So Beneil, with that being said, you know what the path is now. At worst, you're one fight away from a title shot, and in possibility, you could get the title shot next. Charles Oliveira had a big win right after yours. You guys were already scheduled to fight previously, and I know we talked about that fight. Kind of a two-part question. First off, what did you think of Charles' performance his performance against Michael Chandler?
I think he looked good. I think one of the biggest weaknesses he's had is once he falls behind, he kind of falls apart. But in this fight, he showed that he's overcome that problem. He was hurt in the first round, and he still found a way to come back and win in the second round. So very impressed with Charles. What was the second part of the question?
So the second part of the question is, how do you feel you match up with him? Because you have started to prepare for him in the past. So you've kind of been, at least a little bit, I'd imagine, kind of run that fight in your head before.
Yes. And I actually played it in my head a lot because we were supposed to fight and I was preparing to fight him. And I think stylistically, I am the worst matchup for him in the top 5. I have the grappling to beat his. I have the striking to beat his. I think I'm more physical than him. I'm just that's it. I think I have the ability to take him out in all that he does.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it sounds like, at least looking at you and from what you're saying, you're healthy right now, right? Came out injury free, all those kind of things.
That's right. I'm probably going to train today.
Okay, so you're taking time off for your daughter again, completely understandably. Said November, December. We know that Connor and Dustin are fighting in July, but we don't know how that fight's going to play out. We don't know what's going to happen in that fight. Weird things happen. I mean, the last one, they were only in there for 2 rounds, and I know both of them took quite a little bit of damage. I mean, Dustin had some knocks on his face. Obviously, Connor, his leg was all banged up. So no matter what happens, I have a hard time believing the winner of that fight's going to walk away completely unscathed. Is there a part of you that thinks November, December, you could be fighting Charles Oliveira? Is that out of the realm of possibility?
Yes. And then you also got to remember, it's not just them coming out unscathed. It's the contract negotiations. And with these guys, contract negotiations have fizzled out many times. So I think there's a real possibility of me fighting Charles come November or December.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that fight took time to put together just because of contracts and other things can always step in there. And I know you're a guy who's ready to go. I assume if they call you tomorrow and say, hey, November, whatever, Charles Oliveira, I assume you'll be ready to sign on the contract right away.
I would be. Hopefully December, though.
Yeah. Now, are you, again, I think that's a real possibility. I really do. Because again, you're right. Contract situations. And again, we don't know how that fight's going to play out. But we said before the fight, you told me before the fight, you said, even if it win, I don't necessarily expect a title shot. Are you okay doing one more fight if that's what it takes?
Yeah, I would be, but I think it makes sense. I think Charles actually owes me a fight. Man, I stepped up to fight him on a short notice right after I had fought Scott when I was supposed to go on vacation. Sean called me a day after my fight and said, hey, do you want to fight Charles in like 5 weeks, I think? And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I think Charles owes me a fight too, if you think about it. You know, he said he had family issues. He pulled out of my fight. He called out Tony while he was saying he voided me and got the fight he wanted and then fought for the belt. I'm not knocking him. He did his thing. He got his title shot. He got the title. But now, man, you know, just own up to what you were supposed to the person you were supposed to fight.
Yeah, I know that was a weird situation. I'm not knocking Charles in any way, shape, or form. And I know we talked about that before, but it was a weird one because they booked it. You were excited. I think we talked like right after that fight got booked. You were super excited about that fight. And then it just kind of fell apart. We never really heard for sure what happened. And then, yeah, he got booked with Tony soon after. So, yeah, it was a weird one. Again, I'm not saying he ducked you. I'm not going to make those kind of accusations, but it was a weird situation. So I think that is a fight that, you know, definitely needs to happen because beyond the title, it was supposed to happen before.
Yeah, and saying ducked you, like it makes it sound like a fighter is scared. We're not scared to fight anybody. He's not scared to fight anybody, but he took the smartest route, and you know, God bless him for it.
Yeah, I think that's a tremendous fight. I know when it first got announced last year, I was like, ooh, I really like that because you were on a good streak. He had been on a good streak. I was like, that's a really fun fight. And I stand by that. I think that'd be a tremendous fight. And listen, you're on an incredible winning streak right now and beating Tony Ferguson the way you did, you've pretty much cemented your spot in there. So I don't think anyone could complain if you got a title shot against Charles Oliveira later this year. And listen, you know, the lay of the land, you're absolutely right. It absolutely could happen. Like, so you gotta stay positive, right? And I think positive things will come.
Exactly. So that's my mindset right now.
Absolutely. Well, Beneil, congratulations again on an amazing win. It was a great performance. Enjoy it. Obviously, enjoy your family time. Congratulations with your daughter coming. Very excited to see the Instagram pictures. I'm sure you're going to be a very, very proud papa. Enjoy the Tesla. Hopefully, Elon comes through with the brand new car soon enough. And thank you, as always, for taking the time. You know, I really do appreciate it. And I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Okay.
Thank you, brother. You have a great day.